Welcome to the cozy little cabin again. It's so good to see you. Thanks for joining me. Well, today we have a special letter we're going to be talking about, the letter W. You can take your 3 fingers and make the letter W just like this. And the letter W makes the W sound, the W sound. Well, let's look at our board. We're going to put this right up here. And when we take the letter, the letter W, just like that, and we put it with the letter E and the letter B, we make a word. W, E makes the E sound, W-E-B, web. And look at this happy little spider because he has finished his little web. W makes the W sound. How do we make the letter W? Well, we start at the top, we come down, back up, down, back up. And you know what? Baby W looks just like his mommy. Do we have some special friends in our room today? We sure do. We have a mommy wolf and her little baby wolf, a cub, a little wolf cub. And then we have a walrus. And over here we have a whale. We have a special friend that's going to talk to us today whose name starts with the letter W. Let's see if we can call her. Here we go. Well, hi, Mrs. Wilson. It's so good to see you.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Well, I'm doing fine. I sure do miss everybody.
I know. I miss all the boys and girls, and you too, and Mrs. Lockwood.
Well, we've been trying to have school in our cozy little cabin, and we're on a special letter today, and that's why I wanted to call you. Can you help us figure out what it is? It's got something to do with your name, Mrs. Wilson.
Oh, a W?
Yes, you're right.
Wilson. It makes the W sound.
Yes, it does. So what have you been doing, Mrs. Wilson?
Well, I've been doing a lot of W things. I've been taking a lot of walks. I bet you have too.
Mm-hmm.
And I can even whistle when I walk. Can you guys whistle?
Well, we can try. I bet the boys and girls are trying to whistle too.
I bet they are.
So, do you have any W's at your house?
I have a ton of windows, and I've got a little W here.
There it is.
That's our coasters. I have a big wooden one too, but I think Alice might have taken it. I can't find it.
No, Alice is not in quarantine being healthy at her house.
Well, you know Alice. She's knocking on she's ringing my doorbell now, for Pete's sake.
Oh, no.
I'm going to the door and saying, I say, is it you, Alice? And she's like, yes, Miss Wilson, it's me. I need some water. Water starts with a W.
Yes, it does.
So Alice is kind of smart, actually.
Yeah, she
She's
remembers.
smarter than I thought. She does know the letters. But she also drives me another W word, wacky, because she won't leave me alone. I had a great big W, a wooden one, and I think she may have taken it because she wants to be Alice Wilson.
Oh, no. She can't be Alice Wilson.
Wacky.
She is.
Oh, I said, you're Alice Kapanka, and don't forget it, Alice.
No. Well, Mrs. Wilson, it was so good to see you. Thanks so much for letting us call you and talk to you. We sure do miss you.
I miss all the boys and girls, and I miss you and Mrs. Lockwood. Hopefully soon we'll see each other.
I hope so. Well, you have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See you later, guys. Bye.
I have a very special story for you called the Worrywarts. And the Worrywarts were 3 friends who always had a concern. They worried. So let's read our book, The Worrywarts. Now listen closely, for lots of W's make the W sound. One warm Wednesday morning, the sun winked through the wombat's window and woke her up. What a wonderful day to wonder the world, she thought. Wombat went to ask Weasel and Woodchuck whether they would go with her. Where is the world? Asked Weasel. Past the wishing well, down the pathway, and through the woods, answered Woodchuck, who was very well read. So they set to work wondering what to take with them. Wombat wanted watercress on whole wheat bread sandwiches, walnut wafers, waffles with whipped cream, and wedges of watermelon and her walking stick. Weasel wanted wieners and liverwurst and his water pistol. Woodchuck wanted the W volume of Webster's Book of Words in case they needed to look up information about the world. But then Wombat began to worry. "Wait," she wailed. What if we're walking past the wallflowers and a swarm of wasps is waiting? What if they whirl around us and we're nothing to swat them with? What if we're running away and we're not watching where we're going and suddenly we're wading up to our waists in water? What if a wave whooshes over us and wallowing walrus swims up and swallowed us? Oh, what then? Well, if we're going swimming, said Weasel, I want to wear my water wings. You're so wise, Weasel, cried Wombat. We won't be worrywarts. But then Weasel began to worry. Wait, wait, he wailed. What if we're waltzing down the pathway when a wicked wolf comes winding his way toward us? What if we wave to him, but he won't wag his tail? What if we're running away when the weather worsens? What if a whirlwind blows in from the west and sweeps us away into the wilderness? What then? Well, if it's going to be windy, said Woodchuck, I want to wear my woolly underwear. You're so wise, Woodchuck, cried Weasel. We won't be worrywarts. But then Woodchuck began to worry. Wait, he wailed. What if we're whistling while we're walking through the woods and we wake up an owl? And what if he gets worked up and he swoops down with a swish of his wings and whisks us away? What if the weight's too much for him and he begins to wobble? What if he drops us into a swamp and a warthog comes waddling along and wallops us up? What then? Well, if we're going flying, said Wombat, I want to wear my wind helmet. You're so wise, Wombat, said Woodchuck. We won't be worrywarts. Then, without wasting any more time, they wrapped up the watercress on whole wheat bread sandwiches, the waffles and whipped cream, the walnut wafers, the wedges of watermelon, the wieners and liverwurst in wax paper. Woodchuck put the W volume of Webster's Book of Words into his wheelbarrow, and away they went to wonder the world. After a while, Wombat said, I was wondering whether we should eat our sandwiches. So they sat on a wall. They played with a wiggly worm and watched a spider weaving a web on the wisteria. But suddenly, watch out, warned a woodpecker from a weeping willow tree. Something swished around Wombat's watercress on whole wheat bread sandwich. A wasp, she cried. Swiftly, Wombat whacked the air with her walking stick and whizzed a wedge of watermelon into some weeds. Wow! Whisped the wash. Watermelon, mouth-watering, and the wasp went winging away. Well done, Wombat, cried Weasel and Woodchuck. You were wonderful. You're welcome, said Wombat, and they set off again to wonder the world. But suddenly, watch out, came a whisper from a rabbit. Someone came swaggering down the path toward them. Whoops, cried Weasel, a wicked wolf. Swiftly Weasel twirled his wieners and liverwurst into some wildflowers and swished his water pistol at the wolf. Wieners and liverwurst, cried the wolf, wiping his wet whiskers. I'm wild about wieners and liverwurst. Away he went with his tail wagging. Way to go, cried Wombat and Woodchuck. You were very wily, Weasel. We weren't wimps, agreed Weasel, and they set off again to wonder the world. But suddenly, watch out, warbled a wagtail. Woodchuck saw an eye twinkling behind a twig. An owl, he cried. Swiftly Woodchuck whirled his W volume of Webster's Book of Words at the owl. Whang! Whoopee, cried the owl. Just what I wanted to help me win my word game. You're so wise, Woodchuck, said Wombat and Weasel. Well, we walked a long way, said Wombat. I'm weak and weary, said Weasel. I'm worn out, said Woodchuck. So they went back along the pathway. When we will wonder the world again, wondered Wombat. I wish we could go again next week, said Weasel. Well, why not, said Woodchuck. But what if? The worrywarts, you can look at their eyes and see that they're worried, a little bit afraid of something. But you know what the Bible says? It tells us that when we are afraid, we can trust in God to take care of us. We sang a little song at preschool. When I am afraid, I will trust in you. I will trust in you. I will trust in you. Can you remember the rest of that song and sing it? When I am afraid, I will trust in you, in God whose word I praise. We praise the Lord, and He takes good care of us. When I am afraid, I will trust in you. Well, I have a surprise for you. We're going to go upstairs to Mrs. Kapanka's kitchen, where we're going to use water to do some experiments. Water is very important, very important. And we need water in order to live. Our body needs water. We need to drink water. Do you remember when we planted our seeds? I think we should check in on our seeds. They needed 3 things to live. They needed oxygen or air. They needed sunshine. And what was the 3rd thing that everything needs to grow? Water. Well, let's go check out our experiments. Well, before we go into the kitchen, I wanted to stop by here and show you some of Mr. Kapanka's walking sticks. He collects walking sticks because he likes the stories that are behind the walking sticks. Every one of his walking sticks has a story, and very soon he's going to tell us some of the stories about his walking sticks. Well, let's go on into the kitchen. Remember when we were talking about the letter S and we planted some seeds? Well, they needed water to grow, and look how tall they've grown. That has not been very long ago. Well, let's get on with our water experiments. So I have 2 glasses of water, and I have some food coloring. I have yellow food coloring here. I'll put in, it doesn't look yellow until it gets all settled in. And then I have blue food coloring here. Mommy will help you with this part. But these are experiments you can do at home. Then I'm going to take a paper towel, a strip of a paper towel, and I'm going to fold it right in half, just like that. Just like that. And I'm going to put one of the ends of the paper towel in with my blue, the other one in with my glass, like that. Then I'm going to take another one that I prepared and put it in with my yellow, and put the other end in here. And then we just wait until, it takes about 7 or 8 hours. And then guess what happens? It is so cool. We know that if we take blue and yellow, we make green. And so the water is coming up my paper towels, and it's taking the water down into my glass and turning it green. Like I said, this is something you can do at home, and it's really fun. All you need is glasses, paper towel, and a little bit of food coloring. Blue and yellow is what I did because I wanted to make green in my middle glass. All right, let's look at our next experiment that is fun. We are going to show you how water can go down a string without spilling. So we don't really need food coloring, but it's kind of fun to put it in because then you can see the water in the glass. First thing you're going to do is take your string and tie it around your little pitcher. Got it good and wet. So now I'm going to put the string in there. Now watch, I held the string nice and tight here. Okay, now watch, here we go. I'm going to begin pouring the water down my string. There it goes. Right down the string into my cup. Isn't that amazing? I'm not spilling the water. It's running right down my string. That is so cool. As you get older, you'll find out the reason that this works. But right now, we're just studying the letter W and the word water. So I thought today it would be a very fun day for us to do some water experiments. Well, we need to scoot back down to our cozy little cabin to finish up our morning. Well, we had such a fun day. We really don't have time to talk about our math lesson. But on Wednesday, which starts with the letter W, we're going to review 8 and 9, and we're going to introduce the number 10. What a fun day. We got to talk to Mrs. Wilson. We got to do some water experiments in my kitchen. But it is time for us to go now. So I'm going to sing our little song. Will you sing along with me? I'll see you on Wednesday, on Wednesday, on Wednesday. I'll see you on Wednesday, the next day of school, in our cozy little cabin. Bye-bye.